dab in the middle of the great sprawling state of Ohio. Columbus, the state capital, is also the home of the Ohio State University campus. And just outside the city of Columbus, the landscape is a picturesque blend of the agricultural staples of raising livestock and cornfields. But once a year, this beautiful, tranquil setting is transformed by the thunderous addition of millions of dollars worth of sleek racing machines. Their destination, National Trail Raceway, for one of the oldest and most prestigious stops on the NHRA drag racing tour, the Spring Nationals. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the Springs, and their popularity with the fans seems to grow with each passing year. Once again, a full house is expected to watch competition in top fuel, funny car, and pro stock drag racing. Hi, I'm Ed Bruce, and along with Brock Yates and Steve Evans, we'll be bringing you all the exciting action from this 20th Spring Nationals. So sit back and relax. Let's go to Brock for his thoughts on today's action.
Thanks, Ed. And I'll tell you what, as you can see, I don't think you could get another body into this place. The place is just jam full of drag racing fans. And Steve Evans, how about the first round of competition in Top Fuel? Any surprises?
Well, you wouldn't think of Gary Beck being a surprise just winning in round number one. But believe it or not, it's the first time all season long the two-time world champion has survived the first round of competition, and he did it in style.
Incredible that he's been in such a slump. This great champion, Gary Beck, with the Larry Minor team up against the great Chris Garamasinas. One of the real characters in this sport, Steve.
After all these years, the dapper Greek still has a little twinkle of mischief in his eye. And I don't think he knew it at the time, Brock, but his parachute deployed right off the starting line. Probably shook out of the pack due to the vibration of the cars, and the Greek must have thought his motor fell out or something until he got down to the other end. But look at the ET Gary Beck won with, a 5.67. That could be the sign of Gary Beck coming back.
Well, the next race included the man who succeeded Gary Beck as world champion, Joe Amato, the Pennsylvania Flash, and he was up against yet another veteran, Connie Coletta from Ypsilanti, Michigan.
And coming into the Spring Nationals, it's been just a so-so season for Joe Amato. He's been in 3 final rounds, but only won one, and that was the opening race of the year, the Winter Nationals. They were staged and ready for this first-round confrontation. Amato was in the far lane. It was Connie Coletta in the near lane. As they inched forward, the Christmas tree went green, and Connie Coletta found a lack of horsepower in his car. He shut it off. Joe Amato won in the first round at 5.72, 246 miles an hour. And, of course, we've got to look back at first-round action to check the progress of Big Daddy Don Garlits.
Well, Garlits, of course, in a full-court press to displace Joe Amato as the world champion in Top Fuel. He went up against Jack Ravel. Really kind of a spotty performer in Top Fuel ranks, comes in and out of the big events, but has never had a whole lot of success.
Well, no, just to beat Don Garlits would be the high watermark of Jack Ravel's long drag racing career. Pretty much a good guy weekend warrior. Garlits was in the far lane. He had lane choice here and selected that particular lane, feeling that it was the better of the two. And, Brock, I don't think Big Daddy was feeling much pressure in this one.
I'm sure you're right, Steve. He probably went to the line with a pretty conservative setup, but nonetheless, he fried a piston in that pass, and it was a slow one to boot, a 5.89, well off the mark that Gary Beck set at a 5.67.
Brock, how about Dick LaHaye? Low elapsed time of round number one at 5.65 seconds. And if he can drive like we saw him at the Gator Nationals, I don't know if it's hunger or talent, but if he has those reaction times today, they may all be in trouble. Beck, Garlits, Amato, the works.
Well, I suppose LaHaye is the ultimate underdog, but conversely, in funny car, we've got Kenny Bernstein, who is the absolute overdog, and he continues to get stronger.
Oh, he does, Brock. He faltered just a little bit at the Cajun Nationals a few weeks ago, losing in the final round to Jim Head, but had won 2 races prior to that. Here he faces off with Al Segrini. Segrini driving the Joe Paisano car from California, having parked his own car temporarily. Segrini was off to a great start until he smoked the tires. Kenny Bernstein just romped and stomped to a very nice 5.73, 251 miles an hour.
Boy, that would have put him right in the middle of the Top Fuel ranks. Very, very quick time. Dale Poldy, he was next up. Poldy in here with a brand new Somerset body car going against Tim Gross of Saugus, California. Got himself a new sponsor and a new race car team, and he's doing pretty good so far.
You bet he is, but I'll tell you, the hit with the fans was this beautiful new Somerset regal-bodied car of Dale Poldy. And performance-wise, Poldy is given the best chance to maybe go out and match wheels with Kenny Bernstein. Here in round number one, even though Poldy smoked the tires, he still got by Gross with a nice 5.86, 251 miles an hour, the same speed as Kenny Bernstein.
Brand new automobile, really radical shape, as John Collins from Claremore, Oklahoma, a man who is still seeking his first national event victory went up against Rick Johnson in the famed Hawaiian car. The man who holds low ET in funny car competition, Steve.
Well, Rick Johnson set the quickest time anyone's ever seen at the Winter Nationals earlier this year at 5.58 seconds, but hasn't come within a country mile of that time since. Collins was in the near lane. It was Rick Johnson on the opposite side, and right off the mark it was John Collins. Johnson hanging in there with him. Turned out to be a terrific race. John Collins whole shot at Rick Johnson with a 5.93.
And another big name made it through the first round competition. Don the Stank Prudhomme, four-time world champion. He defeated Ron Carenti.
And let's not forget Pro Stock, Brock, because all the superstars are here. Low qualifier Bob Glidden with the Ford Thunderbird, a new track record. But the car I think to watch is the new Rear and Morrison Camaro. They were the quickest car in the first round, and if their new rookie driver, Bruce Allen, is up to the challenge and the pressure, that could be the car in the winner's circle over Warren Johnson, Glidden, and the rest.
Well, like you say, they're all here, all the great stars of drag racing, and we'll be back with Top Fuel second round action.
And here are three drag racing fans that are waiting for their favorite driver to compete in the second round of Top Fuel.
On to these two little pets, and they take them everywhere they go in the drag racing wars. Right now it is time for second round of Top Fuel Eliminator. I'm Steve Evans along with Brock Yates and Ed Bruce, and that is the world champion, Joe Amato.
Beautiful candy apple paint job on that car, the most vivid of the Top Fuel cars. Beautifully taken care of and set up here. All kinds of chrome. Looks like it belongs in a rotted custom show, really, Steve, rather than on a drag strip.
And the man in the seat is as quality as the parts he races. Joe Amato, well, there's really no one better liked in the entire Top Fuel circles. He is up against another good guy from Southern California, a self-made success in the automobile business in Roseville, California. That is Gary Ormsby. And that is as nice a car as Amato's, if that's possible, Brock. The latest in everything, including aerodynamics just in front of the rear wheel. It's the longest wheelbase car we've ever seen.
Boy, these two dragsters, they just don't get any prettier than this. Gary Ormsby, a former Winter Nationals winner, but right now, right on the edge of success, hasn't won anything recently.
Joe Amato, since he earned that #1 in the World Championship, has been having his problems too, Brock. Primarily exploding superchargers off the motor. Not only is it frightening, it's also very expensive. So they are delving into the fuel system trying to find the gremlin that's causing that.
That's exactly the same thing that's been plaguing Gary Beck recently, Steve. These fuel systems are so mysterious that somebody can get the combination and then lose it and not know what they did wrong.
Absolutely right. Gary Ormsby, he staged and waiting for Amato. Joe finally brings that car up. Ormsby has been having some problems on the starting line. At Gainesville, he was very late and was defeated, and I'm sure he's trying to tune up his reactions right off of that mark. Finally, Amato is in. It has taken a long time for Joe to get up there. Now, finally, Ormsby moves into the tape speed. They're off. Ormsby is late. Joe Amato with a big hole shot. Amato, Ormsby. Oh, could it be any closer than that? The wind light says it is Joe Amato at 5.75. But listen to this. Ormsby ran a much quicker 5.69 and lost the race. He will be just demoralized down there.
Well, that is a real tragedy because it was won right here on the light as Ormsby is a little bit late. Really about a couple of thousandths of a second was what made the difference, even though he runs a significantly slower elapsed time. A very fortunate man in his own way, Joe Amato, as he comes out of this very close race with Ormsby a victor.
Well, Joe Amato arrives down here, and the first words out of his mouth, "Did I win?" So it must have been one close drag race. And indeed, Joe, as you're getting your helmet off, you won. And this time, it wasn't Tim Richards' horsepower. It was your good driving, a 700th hole shot.
Well, Timmy told me on the starting line I might need a light because he knew it was going to be real close. And, you know, I had to step up. And we've got a lot of fans here from TRW and Hearst because the main factory is close. And we didn't want to disappoint them. I'm really glad to make this one for TRW because it makes the people from home feel good.
And you know that Ormsby wanted you badly.
Well, this is a real critical race, Steve, because Garlitz has a tough run now. If we can get knocked out, that's 2 more 100 points we're ahead of them. And, you know, we want to win the race. We also like to be the world champion again. That's nice.
Excellent driving.
Thank you very much.
Well, of course, Joe Amato referring to the race that he's having with Big Daddy Don Garlitz for the World Championship. As the next pair of Top Fuel cars come to the line, and here's the youngest star on the circuit, Darrell Gwynn. Miami, Florida, former top alcohol dragster champion in his rookie year in the Top Fuel ranks. He's going against Dick LaHaye, maybe the most popular winner we've seen in a long time when he took the Gator Nationals Championship, Steve.
Oh, yeah, no one deserved an NHRA National Event title more than Dick LaHaye. The Gator Nationals actually was his third. He and his daughter Kim campaigned this car. This is Joe Amato, Jerry Amato. That crew's still down at the far end celebrating that victory as if it was a final round. Boy, they know that they just eked that one out. Look at the size of the tires on these cars, Brock. Who would have believed 15 years ago even, you'd be looking at a tire almost 17 inches wide.
Well, drag racers in those days dreamed about tires that wide, but the technology simply didn't exist to make them that way. Darrell Gwynn from a drag racing family. I'll bet his dad, who raced before him, dreamed about wide slicks like that. Dick LaHaye, he's been around for a long, long time, a real veteran. And earlier, Steve had a chance to talk with this Michigan vet.
Well, Dick, you had to outdrive him at Gainesville. You might just outrun him here.
Well, you know, we came in here with a new combination because we was a little disappointed on our Baton Rouge performance. And yesterday, or Friday, I guess it was, when I run that 59 to qualify, that was the quickest run that I've ever run. And the motor looked nice, and everything was fine. And we're really just trying to sneak up on it, but we're really having a lot of problems with the clutch right now.
Well, Dick failing to qualify at Baton Rouge, and that was a disaster for him because for he and daughter Kim, the crew chief, they are full-time professional drag racers. This is their only source of income.
LaHaye is off the mark first. He was right on time. Darrell Gwynn was late, just flat late. It is LaHaye winning at a 5.66. The Gwynn's 5.69. That was Kim LaHaye you saw running back to the track. She knows that they're going into the semifinals with that 5.66.
A very stout run by Dick LaHaye as he deploys his chute and turns off this very short drag strip, one of the shortest on the national circuit. You just don't want to have your chute fail to deploy. As happened last year, this is Connie Coletti. You notice he's chuteless, hard on the brakes, about to T-bone the catch net at the end of the track. But that has now been replaced with an even more advanced system for slowing down errant race cars.
You may recall last year and in years past, there was a safety net down here at the end of National Trail Raceway, in fact, right where I'm sitting. Well, the net is a thing of the past. There's some new technology from the National Hot Rod Association, and they call it a sand trap. Well, it's not really sand. It's more like pea gravel. Now, it varies in depth from 18 inches where the race car might enter it to over 3 feet back by that red fence. And that fence is only there to keep the neighbors' dogs out, because if the sand trap can't collect that car, the Union Township Police stop traffic on the little country lane. The car can cross the highway and into the garden of Herb White, with his permission, by the way. Herb has lived in that White House since 1932, and he has seen it all down here at the end of the track. So everybody is working together to make this a safer sport in Columbus.
They sure are, Steve, as we watch Dick LaHaye beginning the long process of readying his car for the semifinals here at the Budweiser
Springnationals, National Trail Raceway, Columbus, Ohio. I'm Steve Evans along with Brock Yates and Ed Bruce, and in the far lane you see two-time World Top Fuel champion Gary Beck. He goes up against this man, Brock.
Gene Snow, sometimes credited with being the father of the funny car, Steve. Ran funny cars for a long time, then kind of got out of the sport for a little bit, went back down home in Texas and made a whole bunch of money in the oil business, and now is back sort of playing in Top Fuel cars. Really not a committed pro like Gary Beck, but nonetheless an experienced and very tough professional drag racer. He is extremely good and is capable of beating anybody in the place. Gary Beck, on the other hand, a two-time world champion, a great innovator, but right now in a little bit of a slump. Let's hope he pulls that out before this season goes much farther.
Well, we've seen signs of a comeback on Beck's part here at Columbus. As I said at the top of the show, he got his first win like this season here today.
It's ironic that the man a couple of seasons ago, even last year, was viewed as an almost awesome presence, almost unbeatable, then suddenly hit this bad slump and just hasn't been able to find the handle, and it appears to be in the fuel system.
And it's not for a lack of trying. No one puts in more hours at the flow bench and trying to figure it out than Gary Beck does. It's just getting the right supercharger, Beck tells me. He said they had an Old Faithful supercharger that made 40 runs, all of them potential record setters, and when it blew up, they just became kind of lost. Gene Snow, he moves in. Gary Beck in the far lane, the last to stage. They are off. It is Gene Snow away first, but suddenly some traction problems. A little bit of smoke off of Snow's tires. I'll tell you, Gary Beck is impressive today. Beck wins it with a 560. Not bad. The speed off the bit at 247 miles an hour.
Well, 560, a mighty impressive time. He's run 2 good passes here, very clean. Got a little bit of a wheel stand coming off the line, but nonetheless, it was enough to just drive right past Gene Snow. Gene Snow out of it, but we've got the next pair coming up, and everybody recognizes that black, anodized black body of the Big Daddy Don Garlett's Top Fuel dragster, Steve. And you know what? He's come in here with yet another little innovation. Look at the very narrow front track on that dragster or Garlett's. That is obviously to push less air to keep those wheels tucked in. As Garlett's and Mullen stage, let's go to Gary Beck.
Well, there's nobody stronger right